We're back here at Autosport International 2017. From Vegas to Birmingham, we're now joined by driver for Apex Racing UK, who states has 156 road wins and 11 oval wins. Graham Carroll, good afternoon.
Yeah, hi Will, thanks for having me on.
So I heard first of all you're a little bit poorly.
Out in Vegas, the second day I was there, I sort of came down with a sort of cough, sort of flu sort of thing, but we'll get over it,
Talk about Vegas itself. I mean, for me, the one thing that stood out is how you as sim racers were really kind of treated like racers and given that kind of celebrity status quite a bit.
I think the suits we got given and everything, you know, it was just absolutely amazing. Then to get a teammate like Jose Maria and Sam Bird, and obviously everyone got their teammates as well. And like you say, we were treated really, really well, and it's not like we sort of turned up as gamers. All the pro guys really sort of looked at us as competition and not just sort of gamers. So it was good in that perspective, and how they sort of organised the event and with the sort of visa and how Formula E sort of worked it out. It was really good, and it was for the minute sort of me and Alex arrived on the Wednesday. I don't think we had sort of 10-15 minutes to sit down. You know, the schedule was absolutely flat out, but loved every minute of it, apart from the race obviously. But it was awesome, and hopefully it can sort of make sort of other competitions come out of it. You know, that's the big thing.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting things is going to be future of sim racing. That was really the first time that we saw I'm going to call it the LAN way of doing it, compared to what traditionally we have in iRacing with the everyone racing online. Do you think it's different? What did you enjoy running in that kind of LAN setting more to iRacing? What's the pros and cons from your perspective?
Look, I've always said that iRacing is the best of the best. The only thing that drew me towards it was the money, you know, that's the only thing. But there was, like, I was speaking to Gregor when we were out there as well, and he was one of the people that really hated like the input lag. It was one of the big things for everyone, and he really struggled with that. But it was good again to see all these really, really quick guys be on exactly the same machinery as everyone else and see who's who and who can adapt to it the quickest. And I've got to take my hat off to Bono. I've said that numerous times. He drove absolutely outstanding, you know. It was there was some really, really good points, but there were some not so great points as well. But for sim racing as a whole, I think we need to stop talking about the bad points about it and just talk about the positives, because we're all trying to make this sim grow, make sort of sim racing grow, and that's what we're all trying to do together, you know. So that's the big picture here.
Well, let's move on and talk a little bit about your iRacing career. And of course, the key thing that we're going to start talking about is you participating again in the 2017 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. So for yourself, I mean, talking to Alex Simpson earlier on, and you are going to probably have the biggest team on the grid in 2017.
We've definitely got a few quick guys coming up through the Pro Series. They're doing really, really well. We've definitely got a strong team behind us. Again, myself, Alex, and Anton and Pete, and so many to name, to be fair. But it's going to be a good year, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck back in about it. And I think now that we've sort of met all these guys in Vegas and seen what they're all about, you know, it's time that Apex won a race and got a pole and all this kind of stuff. And I know I said it going into last year's one. I knew it was my first WCS, but we're not here to finish second, you know. We're here to win, and we want to be finishing right up the top this series. And I'll do the first few rounds, and if it's the Gregor and Martin show again, I think I'll be packing it in quickly.
Well, we're down to 12 rounds this season, so compared to the 16 that we usually use in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. And I've just been given a promo by Motorsport Auctions, a global selling platform. Yeah, moving on. So 12 rounds. So the sense of urgency is a lot higher compared to previously, because it means that all of a sudden you can't mess up.
That's it, you know. I went into it as well. First round last year, I can't even remember, one of the Iberica guys just completely wiped me out first round. Excuse me. Second round, Phillip Island, I put my hand up, I had half a lap short of fuel, and then Sebring, one of the Radicals guys, wiped me out. So, and then I went on a sort of bouncy 10 numerous top 10 results that would they really, if you took the first 3 rounds out of the equation and just gave me an average top 10, I would have been ahead of Picala at one point, you know. So it's all ifs and buts, but when you look at it like that, that's what I want to make sure. I've had my bad year to start with, and now I need to know finishing, and just points are the main thing, you know. You've got to learn off these guys that have done it for 5 years straight, and it's time to do well, you know.
You talk about pole positions, of course. Radicals got themselves their first pole position last year in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. NX Racing scored themselves their first win with Yoni Tamala in the World Championship Series. And one of the things that we saw with the McLaren is that in many ways it proved to be a leveler. So we heard all the stories with the Williams that, the established teams have the advantage because they've been doing it for so long. The McLaren kind of wiped some of that out a little bit. So, do you think that you can get a pole position at the very least this season?
Yep, I do believe it now. It's time. Got some new equipment. Hopefully that'll help. And it's just the time. You know, we're not here to, like I say, I'm going to do the first the first 3 or 4 rounds and see how we get on. But I'm not here to be going about in 10th place or even 3rd or 4th place, but 40 seconds off the lead. You know, that's just wasted time kind of thing. So we're here to win and do well, and I think we've got the resources and the team this year to really do it, you know.
That is a bold mission statement. Now we're going to hold you to that. Race victories, pole positions at the very minimum then for Apex and for Graham Carroll. You talk about your setup actually. Talk us through the setup that you use for iRacing.
That I use at home?
Yeah.
Well, I sort of got a little sponsorship for the HE pedals for going out to Vegas, so I've got myself a set of them coming shortly, and I recently just bought a Leo Bodner steering system. So I'd like to think, you know, the steering wheel and the pedals is probably the best you're going to get at the minute, and there's nothing else apart from the loose nut behind the wheel that's going to make it go quicker, you know. So that's I'm not that I've blamed any equipment in the past, but just this is the year that we need to do well, and if there's a peak in my sim racing career where I've been doing well, I think sort of this Vegas thing has really given me confidence and really pushing me forward to do well, you know.
Well, let's talk a little bit more away from the World Championship Series. First of all, what else are you going to be doing on iRacing in 2017?
There's a chance I maybe do Blancpain. A team of guys that are in there at the minute that I've spoke to Alex about maybe jumping in, but we'll see, because I would never like to upset a team that's working well and going to qualify. But we'll take it as it comes. Not a big deal if we don't. Again, to be fair, it's just helping out Alex with stuff in the academy. I quite enjoy seeing drivers come through that and picking up speed and getting better and better. To be fair, any other competition that comes out there with cash, it's time to just attack it and treat it like Vegas. You know, like that was one of the things with Vegas. I treated it like a job. You know, I was on it 6 hours a day, and that's why I won the first round. You know, I was ready to go, and it really paid off. I know I never done well in the race, but I still walked away with $20,000. So any competition that there is this year with cash prizes and a decent cash prize, I'll be all over it.
All in for the money. Real racing as well, very quickly.
I will see. I developed a new Formula Ford car last year. Yep. I'm not too sure if we're going to do it again, possibly, but probably just the odd selected Formula Ford events, the big races here and there. And again, I'm making more money at sim racing than I am in real racing, so it's hard to go real racing at the minute.
And well, that's one of the things really. I want to, before we finish up, talk about what you learn on iRacing to take into the real racetrack, but also what you learn on the racetrack that you can bring back to iRacing. I mean, how much of a link is there?
Excuse me. Put it this way, I stopped real racing in 2008 when I ran out of money. I won the British Championship, and I went away from it for quite a while, and I went back 2 years ago, 2015. I won one of the biggest Formula Ford races in history, 150 entries, some of the best drivers in the world on Formula Ford, and I'd never have won that Formula Ford race without iRacing. And when you're battling with people and you're off, when you take off at the start or you're 1-to-1 and you're battling with guys, it is exactly the same parts of your brain you're using that you would do in real life, you know. So it just keeps you ultra sharp. When you change the setup in the car, it's the feeling you're getting. It's exactly the same you're getting in real life, you know. So it's so similar, you know. It's don't get me wrong. There's slight things, tyre models and bits and bobs that you have to deal with, but the core of it is just exactly the same, and iRacing do such a good job to replicate it. It's just such a key tool to me, to be fair.
Well, what I've learned from this interview is pretty simple. If there's money involved, if there's competition involved, you will see Graham Carroll going up there for championships, for prizes. Before we let you go, Graham, we'll leave the floor to you. Anyone want to give a shout out to?
Well, just thanks for iRacing to coming over. It's been good to see everyone. And again, Alex at Apex Racing, just again for probably would never have been to Vegas and all these things without Alex. So and all my family back home and the girlfriend and yourself, Will. Thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you very much. And thank you for stopping by here on iRacing Radio, powered by RaceSport. You can come and see us at stand 6510 all weekend long. iRacing Radio, powered by RaceSport. We're live from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Tweet us, use the hashtag iRacing Radio. We'll be back with more a little bit later on.